That is quite simply 2 points drop for Liverpool in the Premier League title race. Arsenal have won, Aston Villa have won against the odds, and Man City have dropped points. Liverpool should be looking to beat Man United at home with the amount of chances they created. It's not to disregard the history of the fixtures, not to disregard Man United's great defensive performance today, and we'll talk about it in more detail in this video. But if you're Liverpool, you're trying to be ruthless, you're trying to get through games, maximising points and trying to accrue 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 winning streaks in the Premier League. You haven't done that against Man United. You haven't done that against 10-man Man United. Maybe a little bit controversial, that one. We'll talk about that in a minute. And it would be a little bit of a frustration if you're Jurgen Klopp sat there in your armchair at home. You would be a little bit frustrated you haven't picked up 3 points. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And obviously subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Would really appreciate it. It was a really good game, I thought, for a 0-0. You obviously want to see goals in big games like this. And I think Man United handled themselves very well. Where could have Liverpool have done better? I think that front three for Liverpool didn't click today. I think the workhorses of Szoboszlai and Endo and Ryan Gravenberch, who was probably the standout in their midfield for Liverpool today, was superb. But apart from that, when they're working hard, well, actually maybe Endo was the star of the show. He was working so hard. He won the ball really high up. He'd give it into Nunes, give it into Luis Diaz. Nunes and Diaz, I don't think can play in the same side together. Maybe Liverpool fans will slag me off in the comments. I don't think they can play in the same side. I think they're both runners. I think they're looking for space. I think you want Diaz on one side, Salah on the other. I think Gakpo makes a lot more sense. Jota makes a lot more sense down the middle. Obviously, injuries and fatigue and rotation is a factor. But Nunes wasn't trusting these kind of big games last season. At the back end of last season, he was getting rotated in and out. He's becoming a bit of a sub. And in recent weeks, he's been trusted by Liverpool, been trusted by Jurgen Klopp to start these big games. And I don't think we've seen a good Darwin Núñez performance for Liverpool in a while now. I really do think he's missing big chances. And there was even a moment against Man United where the ball's running out of play and he's calling for a penalty. It was never going to get given. And he had this beautiful opportunity to maximise pressure on Man United by keeping the ball in and trying to whip it back in. He kind of calls for a penalty. I just think he hasn't got this. He hasn't got that killer instinct today. I think Diaz needs that forward to play things into. I think he needs someone to fire something into a little bit. I don't think Nunes is that guy. I think Nunes is almost a winger. I think he's a bit like how Jesus used to play left wing for Arsenal at points and cut in on his right. Modern day strikers, a bit like Salah. Salah gets the numbers of a striker, but he plays as a winger cutting in. I think Nunes should be a left winger cutting in on his right foot, and he shouldn't be starting. I think Diaz should be starting in that position instead. And then Gakpo and Jota. So I think that's where it went wrong for Liverpool. I think the ability to kill Man United off was clearly not there because they would have scored a goal. A 0-0 is indicative of two sides that aren't able to get over the line in terms of scoring a goal. Man United, on the other end, probably had better chances because they isolated Liverpool in big moments, and it took a few mistakes from Man United in the box. Maybe it's someone like McTominay didn't quite connect with a couple of chances, and maybe United could have scored against Liverpool. But let me know in the comments down below what went wrong for Liverpool in particular. Man United have definitely given themselves a bit of a platform. I think they've got to approach far more games this season in a conservative way, an aggressive way. I think they have to look now to not get beat before they start a football match. Now, the Man United way, bombing down the wing with Ryan Giggs, bombing down the wing with David Beckham, winning games 2-3, 4-0, trying to do that at least in every single game. I think that's justified. I think that's the Man United way. But you have to be pragmatic. Things change throughout the season. At the start of next season, I can guarantee you, Man United fans are sat there saying, we have to go and win the Man United way. We have to do this. We have to do that. Because it's a fresh start. But you're halfway through the season. The midfield for Man United is terrible. You've still got Scott McTominay. You've still got Harry Maguire, Johnny Evans. So that's down to the Glazers. That's down to ownership, having a poor vision for the club. It's not Ten Hag's fault necessarily. So you're midway through the season. You think, what are the best results United have had this season? And 0-0 at Anfield is one of the better ones, if not the best one. So they have to look at it and think, let's be a little bit more cautious about it. The great Jose Mourinho side at Chelsea, he looked to not lose a game of football before it even started. We're going to be defensively rugged. We're going to concede very few goals and then have a platform in the final 20 minutes when we've got a bit of quality. I think Rashford in the final 20 minutes of games is fantastic. Same with Garnacho. maybe some of these players shouldn't be starting the game. They manage it, have a few more midfielders, a bit more energy in midfield, and then give those creative players license to do what they want in the final 20 minutes. But when they approach games like that, I think Man United will do a lot better. But it's hard to. Against Bournemouth, they shouldn't be doing that. But in reality, maybe they aren't as good at ball playing side as Bournemouth are these days. That's where they are. So I think they'll be fine this season. I think they'll be boring to watch. And I think they'll grind out a top 5 position. I want to talk about the Premier League title race. This is a huge draw for Liverpool in that situation. They could have gone 6 points clear of Man City. Man City got games in the Club World Cup, which can delay momentum, and it means that the issue gets kicked down the road in terms of Man City's form. It's an issue because there are 5 or 6 players at Man City operating at really average levels. And if you're Liverpool, you want to maximise right now because they're a war machine, Man City. Man City have got players that will come back in February, March, April, desperate to win titles. Someone like Kevin De Bruyne, who's approaching the end of his prime years. Do you think he'll want to let it slip? Do you think Ruben Diaz, who's not won the Premier League since he joined the division at Man City, will not want to win the Premier League title? These guys are going to be killers in March and April, and you want as many points as possible. And playing a Man United side that are downtrodden, a little bit low on confidence, well, deeply low on confidence because of what happened in the Champions League, one of the worst sides in the history of England to ever play in European football in the group stages. These are the facts. Liverpool should be getting 3 points. I'm really sorry. I'd be frustrated with a few things for Liverpool, what could have been improved. Obviously, I talked about midfield. I don't think they get on the ball well enough. And this is always a criticism I had of Liverpool back in when they did actually win the Premier League, when they won the Champions League against Spurs. They relied on Mane, Firmino, Salah, and all the midfield work had to be done by Henderson and Fabinho. Naby Keita when he came in, of course, and Oxlade-Chamberlain, and obviously a few others. You can't be consistently good if you can't control a game of football. And I'm seeing a lack of control in loads of sides. I don't think Aston Villa are the best at controlling games of football. I don't think Man City are at the moment. I think Arsenal might be the best at dictate and play. They're good against Brighton. So if Liverpool want to win the Premier League title, the midfield has to be solid. McAllister comes in for Endo, I think, or Gravenberch. McAllister, Endo, and Szoboszlai looks a little bit better than it was today, I think, in my opinion. So McAllister is deeply important for Liverpool to keep the ball better in games, keep the pressure on. Because if that midfield does a better job of keeping the ball, not everything has to be fired into Núñez first time. Not everything has to be looped into Salah first time. If they can keep the ball better in games, then those chances that they do actually get will be far more premium. They'll be further up the pitch. They'll be isolating fullbacks one-on-one. It felt that Liverpool rushed every ball into Salah, into Diaz against the Man United fullback, but the Man United fullback had enough time to double bank everyone. Amrabat did a great job. Scott McTominay did a good job of double banking these players and limiting Liverpool's ability to actually have meaningful chances against Man United. You know, Trent's big chance on the edge of the box was a kind of deflected effort that came onto the edge of the box. You know, that's something, that Man United kept Liverpool to those kind of chances. Onana didn't make too many world-class saves that he shouldn't have made. There are a couple that are on target. So Liverpool have definitely dropped points in the Premier League title race. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Very interested to see what you think. But 0-0 against Man United, the form that they've got, I would be a little bit frustrated. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I'll see you very, very soon.